Okay, so I am trying to do a brief tutorial just introducing how to use some of the Vedic astrology software. This here is the freeware program Jagannatha Hora, which is a free download online. If you don't have any Vedic astrology software and you're not ready to commit to purchasing any, this is a very good program created by a good astrologer by the name of Narasimha Rao. I like him as well because he does a lot of homams and puja ceremonies and Veda chanting and things like that. So, as you see here, we have the South Indian style charts. If you want to change that, you can go up to preferences here. And there are preferences related to display. You want to go to chart style and language. And there you can change if you prefer. You could, we can change it to the North Indian style chart so you can see what that looks like. And so there it is. That's the North Indian style chart. You can choose whichever you prefer. Also in the preferences here, you can change some of the calculations if you want to change the ayanamsha that's being used or different ways that certain planetary things are calculated or the upagrahas are calculated. Different calculations you can change if there's systems that you prefer. The defaults are usually the most commonly used methods in all of these programs, but there are some options for changing these kind of things. So here on the main screen, we're under Basics. We can go through what it shows in these charts. We have the planets, we have the signs. I guess the retrograde planets are in parentheses. Here we have a description of the planets. And one nice feature here is we have listed here which planet is the Atma Karaka, etc. after the planet's names. And so it gives us the sign that the planet is placed in. For example, the Lagna, the ascendant, is in Libra. And it gives us the degree and the minute and the seconds. And then it will tell you the nakshatra as well, and the pada of the nakshatra. It tells us the birth sign, the rashis, and the navamsha sign. And we have all of the 9 planets, and then we have other planets listed as well. We have all the upagrahas listed here also. So you can scroll down and see all of these upagrahas. A lot are listed there, a lot of different calculations. This is a very complex program that includes a lot of very complex things. So this tells us the date of the chart that's been created. And it tells us some of the panchanga. It's a Friday. This is just the chart of right now when I'm making this video. And so it tells us the nakshatra, the yoga, the karana, different other things in the panchangam. And then it shows us the ashtaka varga strengths for that chart there with reference to the Libra ascendant. So if we want to see other Varga charts, we can go up to this chakras section. I moved from basics to chakras. And this shows us the Navamsha and the natal chart and other charts. I don't know why these are all the natal chart. Some of them are different. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's actually the Navamsha. And that's these are different charts. So the different Vargas you can find there. And there's all these other charts as well that you can look at. I don't have any idea what most of this is. But there are all these options if you study these different things. And there's the names for each one. You could look that up and study that if you want, but I don't ever do any of that. There are all these complex calculations. So then we can look at the strengths. There's the section here is strengths, and it lists the strengths for the planets in the Shadbala and different systems. One kind of nice feature here is it lists major yogas that are occurring based upon the planets coming together in the chart, and it tells you some of the basic effects of the yoga as well. It tells you which planets are creating that yoga. Mars and Mercury are creating this first one, and that may make a balanced, truthful, happy person. So you can see some predictions based upon the yogas, but of course we always have to consider other factors before we make a prediction based upon this. We also can see bar graphs of the strength of the different planets according to these different systems of analysis of the strength. Shadbala is a very common one that we talk about in this course, and so you see there that Venus is the strongest in this chart. Then we can look at dashas as well. I'll just show you one more section. These are the things that are used most commonly. So this is the major Vimshottari dasha system that's here. If we want to change which dasha system, we can do that, I believe, by clicking that, maybe not. But if we want to see more, you know, from 2008 to 2024, we're in the Mahadasha of Jupiter. If we want to see the sub-periods, we can click. And if we want to see even more, okay, puppy, no, not right now. If we want to see even more, we can click again there. And we can click again until we get to the finest levels of the dashas there. Or we can go back up to the Jupiter, or we can just go back up to all the dashas throughout the life of this chart. And so there's different other dasha systems, other dashas. So there's a Mula dasha is there. I think there's ways that we can do other dashas also, but I'm not sure. I never used them. I only used the Vimshottari, which is the nakshatra-based dasha system most commonly used in Vedic astrology. One other thing I'll show you, if you want to create a chart of somebody, you can come up here and go to New. You also can save all of your charts here, and then you can reopen these charts, so you don't have to enter the people's data every time. So if you want to create a new chart, you go up here. Okay, get down, puppy dog. We don't need your help right now. We can go up here and I thought I had done it. Go to File and then go to New. And I don't know what's happening here. Okay, well, so we could edit the birth data. We go to Edit and edit the birth data, and that's maybe the way we can create somebody's chart here. So the birth date, we need a month, so we'll just say June, you know, a day, a year, and we'll be using, in probably most cases, the Gregorian calendar when we're listing all of these. The new day begins at, you know, a certain time. In the Vedic calendar, the new day begins at sunrise. In the Gregorian calendar, begins in the middle of the night. So then we use the birth time. We've got to put that, I guess, in the, well, we can change this. If you don't know military time, the 24-hour cycle, you can change it so it's AM or PM. You can put 1 AM or 1 PM, whatever, rather than 16. Gender, you can put the gender if you want. So some variations need this in the Jaimini Dasha variations. So then you put the name of the city. And so let's just try a different city. Let's put Richmond, Virginia, and see what happens here. Richmond. And so then we can put state. within the U.S. If it's not in the U.S., you can put the country name, but we're in the U.S., so we'll go to Virginia. Gotta scroll down. There we go. Virginia. And then we search in the U.S., and hopefully he's got listed, yeah, the latitude and longitude of that place. If the city is not listed, if they're born in some strange small village in South Africa, for example, the village may not be listed by name. You find the closest big city, and that will be listed there, and the longitude and latitude should be close enough. So that's about all we need to do, really. So we could say, okay, and then this will not change the chart very much because this is basically the same place. So if you want to save this, you can come up to save and say, just save as, and you get the option. He has a lot of charts of famous people already entered into the program for you if you want to study those. Aurobindo, Sri Aurobindo, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, Mahatma Gandhi. So we could name this whoever, whoever the person it is that's chart this is, and we can save that. So that's how we use that there. So I don't intend to do that though. I'll show you quickly. This is the program I use, which you have to pay for, is Sri Jyoti Star, made by a guy I know who lives here in Virginia, and Andrew Foss. This is one of the big programs. It's recommended by a lot of the Vedic astrologers. But he lives here in Virginia, and he also knows Sridhar Guruji. He's written a book recently on planetary mantras, the 108 names. And so some interesting features on this. It doesn't show us the yogas, I don't believe. Maybe it would somehow, I don't know. But this does show us a lot of things about the placement of the planets. See, here's a chart. And then right here it shows the planetary positions. And it tells us right here whether they're debilitated, if they're in their own sign, a friendly sign, this kind of thing. It tells us the Navamsha sign also. It tells us the dashas. We can go through those. We can do a lot. There's a lot of freedom, a lot more options with this program in a lot of ways. It shows us the nakshatra that each planet is in. We can create a separate little chart like this to show us. One complaint I have with this program is the font is very small and it's very difficult to read, especially with my eyesight going. Here's the Panchanga that tells us the day of the week. It's Tuesday, Mars. And then it tells us the nakshatra at that time, Aslesha nakshatra. But then here, one thing I like, it shows us all that if a planet is combust, it tells us. If the planet is in a planetary war, it tells us which planet is winning, and all this kind of thing. These kind of things make it easy because you don't have to sit and think, oh, is the sun friends with Libra? Is the sun friends with Venus? You don't have to recall that sun gets debilitated in the sign of Libra. This is written here. You don't have to ask yourself, is the sun, well, it's the sun, the moon is in his own sign. Is Mars friends with Mercury? You don't have to ask yourself that. But see, then also to get these calculation of a neutral placement, we have to see where is Mercury placed in relation to Mars. Mercury is in the second house from Mars. So you have to do a lot of calculations in your head. It can be useful to do these. It tells you a lot. It helps you understand these things much better. But also this can save you some time, some of these kind of options. So I use both programs a little bit, but I tend to favor this one. Although because the text is so small and I'm not sure how to make it much bigger. I can make it a little bigger. I'm tending to favor the other program, Jagannatha Hora, which is easier to read. Can you read all that? And then see, this is much easier to read. And so just because my eyesight is going and I don't have the glasses, until I get my glasses, I may be switching to this program. So I hope that gives you some little introduction to some of the very basic concepts. I think there's also an online group for Jagannatha Hora. If you have questions, you can post online about how to use the program, and not necessarily the maker, but he may. But someone in the group who knows how to use the program will answer your question. So you can ask, do we have this option in this program? If not, what can we do to get around this or whatever? And so let me know if you have any questions. Okay.